Hello, John Lanier here with another installment of Profit Rainmaking Minutes, inspired by our international bestseller, Profit Rainmaking: 9 Universal Truths to Achieve Loyal Customers, Exceptional Operations, and Inspired Teams. In this episode, we'll visit Chapter 6, which entails the universal truth: maniacally obsessed over quality, timeliness, capacity, and productivity. These 4 terms have a symbiotic relationship, which we'll explore one by one. Let's begin with quality. A synonym for quality is durability. From the customer's perspective, the product performed as advertised for its useful life with de minimis disruptions. This is a big thing. And it's even better when the customer thinks they got more than they paid for. By definition, that's a bargain. But it says nothing about what may have happened on our side of the firewall, which could have looked like Keystone Cops because our processes were in chaos. And even though we fixed everything to look like a perfect product by the time, and indeed may have been a perfect product by the time the customer had dominion, what it took to get it that far could have been a total mess. Mess translates into unnecessary expense. Item 2, timeliness. From the customer's perspective, timeliness is, I got it when I said I had to have it. Well, we may not be able to do that and often negotiate a quote realistic delivery date, something that we could do. That doesn't mean we can do it easily, but it means we can do it. We may not be capturing that data element in our system because it is a signal, perhaps, and actually likely, of where the customer is going. And if we can't improve our delivery dates, we may not keep that customer. Indeed, what happens if an interloper calls on that customer as a prospect and discovers our vulnerability? And what if, furthermore, that they have already addressed such issues and said, no problem, we can deliver that now? When you want to start? Oh my goodness, we may have just lost a customer. So the timeliness piece matters. Again, even if we met something that was better than the norm for us, but still not quite what the customer expected, what did it take to do that extra thing under our roof? Well, we may have delayed deliveries on other customers. We may have incurred a lot of overtime on a rush process, which by definition is a hidden factory workaround, but it's expensive. So we couldn't expect to have had normal margins on something that was on a rush basis. So again, we've got another ding on our profitability. And this time we didn't even satisfy the customer because it wasn't what they wanted. Third topic, capacity. This one's interesting. It's basically what we think we can do within our limited constraints. And we're probably talking about the facility and its equipment. It is very common to have excess capacity hiding in plain sight, but if a team has done something the certain way for a long period of time, it may be assumed that that's the only way to do it. So there may be some capacity hiding in plain sight that were we able to harness, we should be more profitable because we're absorbing our overhead better. How do we hedge our bet to make sure we are rooted in reality? That's when we ought to call an external subject matter expert who specializes in such things. And I am very familiar with talent who can walk through a place and see 25% excess capacity just waiting to be harnessed. But that doesn't necessarily get people really excited. What does get people really excited when they are made aware that they could do 2 to 3 times as much under the same roof with the existing machinery and the existing labor if they just did things a better way. Those are fun things to watch. Also makes us more competitive. Fourth topic, productivity, the holy grail. And interestingly enough, not everybody uses productivity metrics on their dashboards. That should be revisited. Industrialized nations compare themselves on productivity metrics. The biggie in productivity is labor. What does our labor do? This discussion unnecessarily induces anxiety, and it's not intended to, nor is it a necessary consequence. There are force multipliers that enhance productivity for which trained labor welcomes. It's better machinery, it's better tools, it's better everything. And it means we don't burn out employees. And in fact, we have higher skilled labor because there's training involved to master this equipment to harness that extra productivity, which makes us more competitive. If we roll back the clock, an easy example is what robotics did to manufacturing. It was disruptive technology. It induced a lot of anxiety on the front end. It's now normative. Think we have another one on the horizon? Of course we do. It's called artificial intelligence. Again, we're still trying to figure out what it means to us as employees, but having eaten my own cooking and bringing up the topic, I am blown away by how much more productive AI tools make me. Did I have to go through a learning curve? I will forever because that cheese will also continue to move, but the potential is exciting. So, revisiting the premise here that it is virtuous to maniacally obsess over quality, timeliness, capacity, and productivity. What does this mean? Well, the lessons should be self evident. Nothing remains the same forever. That sounds hyperbolic and may be to a certain extent, but in business, it sure as heck isn't. Everybody's cheese moves. If we aren't increasingly productive, we actually become first irrelevant and then extinct. I'd rather hang around for a while. I bet you would too. Those are my thoughts. We always welcome yours. Until next time, John Lanier signing off.